One of the things that I'm going to do is work on the messaging, but instead of distracting people with the price, I'm going to lead off with the video. I'm going to change the featured image on this video so it's a little bit, nicer looking. But I'm not going to try to sell the course right here. I want to sell the idea of why the course is important and tell the story up here first. The other thing that I really like about the Course Creator Pro one is that they have an option to learn more and to get more free content. And so I think I'm going to create a video or some sort of free webinar type thing to where people can have some instant wins before they even purchase anything. So I'm going to have my call to action be learn how instead of purchase now. And this will link to a video which basically overviews what's all included in the course. And people know that this is going to be, there's something on the other side of it. All the good stuff is behind a paywall. It's a very standard type thing. We give away a ton of free content on our YouTube channel. And so, you could glean most of everything that's going to be in the course in the YouTube channel. The primary difference is all the templates and worksheets and stuff that is included in the course. But I think people need to have that preliminary incentive, which is to learn a little bit more first. I really like the way the Future has laid out their products, and so I'm going to do something very similar to that, to where it's going to have visual engagement, a title, and a price with a hover effect that shows a little bit more details, and then that could link to the individual product pages. Since I have 5 courses, I think there's a way to lay them out to where maybe they're all 5 across. Let me see how they're doing. I want to see what that looks like. So we could do the 3, or we could do the bundle, which will be all of them. And so in fact, it'll show 6, and I think that's probably a good way to do that. And don't ask me how I came up with all the prices. I don't know why it's $997 instead of $1,000, but it just, that is what it is. Yeah, when I design this, because right now wireframes is the preliminary first step before we go to an actual design. I'm going to have to make this last one just more distinct. So these will all look very similar, like they're around the same, type of price point. But then this last one's got to look a little bit distinct. One of the other things that I'm thinking about is, I want to generate leads and follow up with people. We give away a lot of free content through our email list. This Learn How, which is to a webinar. Obviously, this is going to be a lead capture. So this is part of our funnel sequencing, which is going to be like a pop-up. Call this pop-up. And then once they do that, it'll trigger an email to a landing page, which will have the free webinar, and then the next call to action, which is going to be, to buy the Butler box or to buy each of the individual courses, or maybe coaching. But once I have them over here, I have their email address, so we could follow up periodically with free content. In fact, I'm going to call that out right here, which is we'll have a sequence of probably 3 different emails, or maybe we'll do an email for each course and we'll give them a free bit of content talking about positioning. I like that. Positioning, marketing, sales, strategy, and project management. Sounds good. About 5 emails, maybe 1 per week for the next 5 weeks, each of them linking to the individual pages. All right, so I have my Learn How, linking to a pop-up, which is a lead capture that sends them the email that links them to the webinar, which then tries to sell. If people just want to skip that and go straight to the shop, they can do so over here. I think this is a good section for some testimonials. And one of the things that is important, because we have a requirements list here, I got to start checking things off. In fact, the value proposition and the elevator pitch is literally in the tagline and the subtag. And so I can start checking these things off. I have my video up there. We have the courses. And then this, I have to write down a little note. Hover effect with details, and then link to product page. Save the product page wireframe maybe for when I get rid of all this. The link to the shop is going to be in the menu. I don't know if I want to necessarily call that out because there's not a lot of things that are on the shop that I really want to like lead with, especially on this main landing page. We have our social proof. So we do have a free resource, but my whiteboard isn't long enough to include everything that I want to include. So I'm probably going to draw like a smaller thing over here with the continuation. In fact, one of the things that I missed was the guarantee. So I'm going to move this with a... So one of the things that I'm doing right here is I ran out of space on my whiteboard, so this is just a continuation. Back in the day, by the way, that they said that wireframes or for a homepage, you shouldn't have anything that's important be below the fold. And so it's just a tactic from newspaper printing. You would have your newspaper folded, and your top story would be above the fold. And then anything below the fold was kind of less important. And then the rule of thumb was always to have your primary content above the fold, and everything kind of lesser secondary would be below. And so website homepages would be very simplistic. It would be just like a big hero image, maybe a little bit of text underneath and some links, and that was it. Because of the change in technology, people are interacting with websites differently. They're scrolling on their phone, and they're used to doing that. And so that same interaction can now be emulated on a website. So people are used to and okay with longer landing pages. And so because I ran out of room here on my whiteboard, I'm continuing that over here. And so one of the things that I'm having that I'd like to have is a white paper. And so it'll be a free resource, which is our first call script. It's one of the things that I'm willing to give away for free. We've done it before. People have benefited from it. It's basically how do you handle your first call. That's the most important part of the sales process, is how you're talking on the first call with a client. And we have our first call script, and we just give that away for free. This next section, I think, is going to be playlists. So this is going to be YouTube playlists. We have a couple very popular playlists on YouTube, like our UX design playlist is pretty popular, our project management playlist is pretty popular, so I think we could link out to those, which will give us more credibility and traffic to our YouTube channel. Have our social links right here, and then email. So this whole section will be kind of like our connection area, which is right here, YouTube and social links, free resources, and then the last thing is the coaching. And so I think I can add that at the very bottom. Because I'm doing one-on-one coaching, I have to really limit the amount of people that I'm coaching. So we have an application form. Not everybody could just sign up. People can apply, and then I'll respond to those that I feel are probably the best fit. And so I think that could be there at the very bottom. And that's it, guys. I think that's my new landing page. I feel good about this. We have our homepage, we have our products, we have them each linking out. I have a clear funnel sequence, which is not just trying to lead off with the sales, but I'm actually giving away content and then putting people into our list and then following up with an email sequence. I like the idea of having a webinar. This isn't really something I thought about before I saw the Course Creator Pro site. I like the idea of adding more value for free, giving kind of like an entry-level commitment. And yeah, now it's time to design it. It looks good as a sketch. Typically, I'll just do this on a piece of paper, but then, how do you go from this to an actual website? In fact, I think the next video I'm going to do is going to be on how do I create this landing page as a design. And the way I do it personally is through Photoshop. Some people use XD, some people use InDesign, some people are using wireframing or other design programs like InVision. I use Photoshop, and the reason why I use Photoshop is because I have a little bit more design control over exactly how I want things to look, and then I can export all the assets for my developer to execute. And I'm not constrained by the restraints from the WordPress functionality. We can have our developer design according to my design rather than the limitations that the WordPress theme allows for. And so that's it, guys. I don't know if this is helpful for you, but it was helpful for me. This is something I've been trying to do for a long time, and now we did it. Now the next step is to actually design this out and then send this over to David, and we'll take it from there. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully this was helpful. I'd love to hear back from you guys.